Good morning, and today we are going to be doing my one bowl chocolate cake. It's awesome, it's easy, better, so much better, so moist, that fun word that my high schoolers love, but it is one of the best cake recipes, much better than boxed. We're going to start out with our dry ingredients. We're going to take 2 cups of white sugar, and it's a one bowl chocolate cake, so that means literally you're going to just use one bowl. And we're going to take 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I use unbleached just because it sounds better, but anyway, all-purpose flour. I do have a 2-cup measuring cup. If you don't have one, of course, you're just going to use 2 1-cups. You spoon it in and then you level it off. 2 cups of that. A 1/2 cup of baking cocoa. And then I already have that measured out because baking cocoa, cornstarch, and powdered sugar, they're like my least favorite things. You spoon it and measure it like the same thing because it's so powdery. We're going to take 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and I do have a 2 teaspoon measure. If it does have some clumps, you can always push those out a little bit, but 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and give that a quick stir. That's our dry ingredients. And from the suggestions and the input that I've received, almost all of you said you'd rather hear my voice than just see the text on the screen. So hopefully this sounds a little better. My mic hasn't come in from Amazon yet, so if it's still not really good, I apologize, it will be here. Then we're going to add our wet ingredients. All my wet ingredients are at room temperature, including my eggs. So 2 eggs, large eggs. Okay, and 1 cup of buttermilk, and I made this because I didn't have any buttermilk. They tried to substitute it at Walmart because I had a pickup order, but you can just use 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and then fill it up the rest of the way with whole milk, and just let it sit. And this is also at room temperature. And then it's supposed to, the original recipe called for 1 cup of oil. I always substitute about half with Greek yogurt and half with oil. It kind of lessens the fat, and I think it produces a really moist cake. So go ahead and fill the rest of your measuring cup with that, and then just kind of clean it out with the spatula. Once again, the yogurt is at room temperature. I sometimes use non-sweetened Greek yogurt, sometimes I use sweetened, just depends on what I have in the refrigerator. So I got that. And I'm going to give that a nice whisk. And we think, oh, it looks like once we get it done, it's going to look like what most cake batters look like. And then I have some coffee that's left over, which is very unusual, that I'm going to go ahead and heat in the microwave because it needs to be hot. But once we get this batter all mixed, nice and good, I just have a regular whisk. Go ahead and get it mixed well. And after I mix it so it looks pretty homogeneous, the seam, I usually take my spatula and scrape down the sides just to make sure that I don't have any clumps of dry ingredients in there. Okay, so as I said, the coffee usually would be straight out of the coffee pot, but it was left over from yesterday and I just kept it in the refrigerator. So I'm heating it up. It calls for 1 cup of hot water, but I usually use, if I have coffee, I usually use coffee because I think coffee is really good at enhancing the cocoa flavor. So I have a batter, and it looks very similar to what you would think a cake batter would look like until we mix in the cup of coffee. So, yep. Okay, so I microwaved about a minute, and I'm going to stir that in. And I do have my oven preheated at 350, and I have a pan 9x13 sprayed with cooking spray. You can use this in if you want to do 2 9-inch pans as well to try to make it pretty. That works as well. So here goes. Whisk, whisk. And then I'm going to pour it. I should have put my apron on. Not exactly the most neat chef, I guess. Okay, so we have our batter, cake batter, in our 9 by 13, and that's going to go in the oven for about 30-35 minutes. And it's going to test out with a toothpick. It will be moist, okay? So we're going to go and put that in. While the cake is baking, I am going to go ahead and mix up the buttered cream cheese icing. It's a stick of salted butter and 3 ounces of cream cheese. I'm going to go ahead and cream that. My cord doesn't reach too far, but we will see this. Cream that. Really nice. And then we're going to add 2 cups of powdered sugar. It doesn't have, it can be eyeballed. It calls for 2 or 3 cups, so either way. And then I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of maple and half a teaspoon of vanilla, because I just love the flavoring of maple. So I use half and half of that. So I go ahead and beat in the powdered sugar. It is happening. Like I said, I don't have a plug on this end of the island. So, and you can hear our dogs in the background. Sorry about that. So we're going to go ahead and add in half a teaspoon of both the vanilla and the maple. And then to thin it out a little bit so it's a spreading consistency, you can add a little bit of milk or a little bit of water. I usually just add water because it has better shelf stability, and just get it so it's good spreading thickness. So as you can see, it's a nice spreading consistency, and it does have a darker color because I did have the vanilla and also the maple flavoring. Both are dark. So there's that, and we'll wait till the cake's nice and cool and we'll get it spread, and I'll let you see the finished product. Okay, so I baked the cake for 33 minutes. That's how long it took me. It varies depending on the oven, and then I iced it after it was cooled and got myself a nice big piece of it. Very, very moist. One bowl chocolate cake, the way to go. Enjoy.